David from the Redneck Garage. Well, pretty much we're done with the motor. I've got to get it off the engine stand. I put the water pump on it last night. And then we're going to be installing our flywheel, pressure plate, throw-up bearing, clutch. All those components are going to be installed in this video. And then we're going to move it over and drop it down into the frame. I've still got a little bit of work to do to get the ears on and the motor mounts themselves mounted up to the engine. Get that positioned where it's supposed to be and welded in, because this is a 6-cylinder frame and I need a 4-cylinder. I've got new ears. That's going to be probably the next video after this, but let's get started. I don't know if you guys heard about the whole thing about the Volkswagens and how they tested and cleaned, but I got behind one yesterday and I'm surprised somebody didn't figure this out a little bit sooner. And here's a little shot of me behind the Volkswagen. So holy crap! That one's for Jerry. Found my motor mounts and my motor mount bolts. Those are rusty a little bit, so we're going to put them in the tumbler and see how they come out. Alright, on the motor we're going to be putting on the new oil pump here, and there's your pickup tube. I've cleaned it up, looks good. Got a bolt in it. There's my bolts for the oil pump. This is the old oil pump, and if you ever wanted to know what made your oil pressure, this would be it. This is one of the gears. If you look down in there, you can kind of see a pin, and that's on the side on the top there, and that's really your bypass. In case your oil filter gets completely plugged up, it can bypass it, and that's spring-loaded. So if the oil pressure starts getting way too high, it'll bypass it, so you don't blow your motor up. But this is the old oil pump, and there's no reason ever to use it again. It's trash, because why would you risk it? Alright, I got to assemble the oil pump, and you got to put your pickup tube on it. I like putting the high-tack gasket sealant on here and then glue the gasket on so it doesn't move around when you're putting it on. So I'm going to do that real quick. Then we're going to install our pickup tube and then put it on the motor. Alright, so I got my new tensioner in for the timing chain. You can see the difference between this one and the old one, like I was saying before, and how terribly worn that one is compared to this one. So I'm going to install that. Basically you install it and you rotate the pin around and the spring pops out. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on. Alright, so I've installed my new seal. It's got the gasket on the back side, and we have our chain dampener right here, so if it hits it won't make a bunch of noise. And I usually just rub a little engine lube, assembly lube around the seal while it's going on, just to keep it lubricated. It's ready to go on. Now I got to kind of figure out where they went, because I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh, it's a little heavier now. Pretty. Bracket. Oh. Here. Alright, so there's the completed engine. We're putting the motor mounts on, and I've got my engine hoist unhooked from the tub so we can use it putting the motor in. And we bought some extra chain because I didn't have enough, and we're mounting the motor on the chain, and I've got this deal, and I got this is supposed to be able to tilt it back and forth easier, so that's good. So we're going to get the chains hooked up. Alright, now that we got the engine on the stand, I can put in my rear main seal here. Looks good. Let me go get my flywheel. We'll mount it up.
I don't want that coming out. No, you don't.
It'll hurt your foot.
Yeah. Mess up a tooth or something.
Got the throwout bearing, clutch disc, and pressure plate. Alright, so we're going to put our pressure plate on. And I'm just going to put a couple bolts in it, just kind of hold it. Where it's supposed to be. Then you want to put your flat face towards the flywheel. And this is American. Everything else in the stupid Jeep is metric. I've got my lineup tool in here. Once I start tightening down, I'm going to try to get it about as centered as I can.
Watch your head.
Yeah. You can see those fingers going down as tension is applied. That's what keeps your clutch down. See the fingers pull in?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I got to put the new throwout bearing on, and I want to make sure that I don't get this mixed up. It's been on here a while. What am I talking about? Why do I need to mark it? I'm videotaping this. The one with the part number is the ball end. This is the end that goes over the ball, and then this is your clutch where your slave cylinder hooks up right there, your actuator. So there you go. I'm going to clean this off real quick.
Ball on the left.
While I've got that off, make sure this is good and clean. It needs to be like super clean. You want to make sure there's two little notches in there, that it's sitting inside of there. Now we're going to grease this up and put it in. And there's our new throwout bearing. How cool is that? Now we're going to put this on, and I'm going to put a little bit of grease right inside the ball and also in the bearing itself. There it is. That's it. And then this goes like that. Okay, so we got that on. Now we're basically ready to put the transmission and the engine together. How cool is that? I might put a little more grease right here on this. where it mates up. That feels better. And then you want to put a little grease on your spline, but not too much. Just a little bit, because you don't want it slinging grease all over your clutch plate. And then we got our pilot bearing that just goes over the end and get it a little greased up. Alright, we're going to see if we can get the motor closer to getting up into the body cavity. Alright, so I got it set down in there. I've got to get the motor mounts mounted onto the engine, and then we'll be able to kind of set where our ears are going to go. And then I can kind of finagle it around with the transmission, which is a little bit further back than it's supposed to be. But that's a pretty good lick right there, that it's in the motor, in the frame itself. And pretty soon it'll be sitting in there, and we can roll this underneath our body over there that we dropped down on the ground. Alright, so that's it for this weekend. That was a pretty good lick though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. With Randy's help, we got the motor set in the frame. It's not mounted to the frame yet, but that's just the next step, to put the ears on, put the motor mounts on the engine itself, and basically set them down where it needs to be and weld them in place. And then we're ready to roll it up underneath the tub-a-roo here. Easy for you to say. Anyway, I'm about ready to go inside, have a beer, wash my hands.
Watch some football.
Clutch is installed. Man, yeah. We've got the engine completed, the clutch is installed. It's about ready to go. Made it back up to the transmission. That is a super cool thing. And the joyous day will be when we roll that thing underneath the cab. So anyway, I'm David from the Redneck Garage with Randy.
Yeah.
Keith.
Turner
wrenches.